dad of a certain family might say, we're the kind of family that stops eating meat. The dad of another family might be, well, we're the kind of family that stops buying new clothes. We're just wondering, what kind of family, what we expect the conversation to be from you to start with?
Well, we're going to have to look everywhere. When in education spending, for instance, the statistics are over the last decade, we've lost 12% of our students, and our education has gone up by 70%. In the next decade, we anticipate another 8,500 students, our student population over the next decade to continue to decrease. There's a perfect opportunity for finding savings as our number of students decline. There's going to be a significant amount of retirements with our teachers, many of which entered the teaching profession during the Vietnam era, and they talked to Jeff Francis, Superintendents Association. There are going to be a lot of layoffs. There's all kinds of distance learning opportunities, global classroom, all kinds of innovation that could happen for us to manage the retirements, manage the fact that our number of students is decreasing. And this is a great place to start the conversation. Education and healthcare spending, we hope to be able to use the federal legislation that would possibly allow us to leverage that to address the healthcare spending in our state. Those are our two major areas for spending, and we'll start the conversation in those two areas.
Governor Douglas has been talking for years about lowering taxes, lightening the regulatory burden. Clearly, you think that hasn't happened to enough of an extent. Has he been a failure?
Well, I mean, you just listen to the energy of the people that are here today, the people that have united around my vision of saying we can cut taxes, we can reform our legislation, we can do what we did with the, great example, the designated growth centers is a great example. The legislature working with the governor designated areas of our state. I met with a home builder in Montpelier. He said, isn't it great? I'm building housing in Montpelier, Vermont, and I don't have to go through Act 250 because of the legislature and the governor showed leadership, designated a growth center. That's a great success story that we could leverage for industrial parks. Do some pre-permitting, general permitting. There are so many opportunities for us to drive reforms into the way we do our business of government, and there are successes that we can use. The tax cuts for as you heard, for the aviation sector is a great success that the governor and the legislature did, and we could leverage to other sectors, the captive insurance sector. There's things that we can learn from what we've done to building a better future going forward.
Most people predict we're going to have a Democratic legislature again, both Senate and House. How do you bring them along?
Well, you talk about ideas, and you say the ideas that I presented today are nonpartisan. I hope to be able to attract Democrats, progressives, Republicans to unite around these ideas and say, please read the plan, read the competitions plan, kick the tires, see what you think. This is a nonpartisan plan that says, this is my vision. I've spelled it out, 26 pages, 10 points, with great detail and specificity, and let's have the conversation. This is a starting point for that conversation.
Brian, it's really not clear how much you're planning to cut in healthcare and education.
I'm proposing to grow.
I'm talking about healthcare and education costs.
The budget that you just. No, this is not a cut. This is not a cut. This is a 2% increase in government spending. This is a 2% increase in spending. So this is not a cut. I'm proposing that we're going to grow government greater than the rate of inflation. Inflation is anticipated to be a point.
But for a while we've had stimulus funds that have helped us to bolster programs like Medicaid and education, and that money's going away.
When you borrow money from the Chinese and add debt to your children, that's not sustainable. The next generation of our country and borrowing from foreign countries. So we have to make decisions. We have to make decisions. It's very important.
No. There's a 7% difference between you said today that the state budget was growing 7%, and you want to bring it back down to 2%. The question is, where is that 5%? Where does it come from?
Well, what I'm proposing is growing state government at a 2% rate. Over the last years, our state government has grown at about 3.5% for the last 2 years. What I'm proposing is we limit the growth to 2%, which is more than the rate of inflation, and we'll have the conversation with the General Assembly about where to establish priorities. It's a simple concept. We can't grow state spending more than the underlying economy. That's a basic economics. Vermonters understand that. Vermonters around their dinner tables understand that. We can't continue to spend more money than the small businesses of our state generate. So this is what leadership's all about. It's about setting priorities, and I'm being very clear. My plan says we can grow state government faster than the rate of inflation, and that's what I proposed here today.
Can you talk about the role that
They're
current
actually
members
kicking
of
us
the...
out, you guys. They're firing up the production line again. It's new now, so.
Should we take it out?
Brian, you proposed a specific income tax cut for the wealthiest Vermonters. How big of a tax cut would the middle class see?
What I proposed, let's be really clear, I proposed income tax cuts for all brackets for all Vermonters.
But you specify for the highest brackets. You didn't specify in the plan that I saw for the
I'm saying the conversation should be about income tax cuts for all Vermonters and all brackets.
Did you say how much? I don't.
Well, I referenced 6% as a goal. The state of Maine, the state of Rhode Island, the state of Massachusetts have a 5%. We'll still have a higher income tax than our neighbors even in New England. New Hampshire has 0 income tax. So as a goal, and this is a great opportunity to say, that's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. It's going to take time to have that conversation about how we could get there. But I need to be clear. It would be all brackets, all Vermonters.
Go ahead. What,
Can you talk about the role that members of the current administration played in helping you compose this plan?
Well, as I said, I had conversations with the Joint Fiscal Office, the people that were here today on the floor, currently the current members of the administration. I've had, I think I used in the thousands of conversations all across the state to develop the plan.
And have you had formal talks with members of the administration, or not, or informal, just together?
Well, let's
at a
be clear.
table,
I am,
putting together-
in some ways, I'm on the governor's cabinet, so I've had talks about making sure that my numbers are consistent with the reality. I've cross-checked them and making